All right, I asked you to start this next problem by yourself, so I ended with a line of symmetry of -1. I have a vertex that's a minimum because my A is positive. I have a vertex of -1, 2. Next, I was going to find my roots. But I don't know, sorry, two numbers that add to 2 but multiply to 3. So, like I said in the last one, we used to call this prime. We aren't going to call them prime anymore as we move forward. Instead, we're going to make a t-chart is one way to do this. Or you can look at your equation and use some of the things you know. If I was going to do a t-chart, I would put the vertex in the center of the table because we know that is the folding point, the center of left to right. Another thing I do know, though, is in this equation, what does the plus 3 represent? I realize it's really close to the vertex, but the plus 3 is my y-intercept. So at the point 0, 3 is my y-intercept. If I put 0 here and 3 here, that means if I put -2, I would also get a 3. 1 to the right, 1 to the left. And that then would get me the point -2, 3. I wouldn't have to work on a table. It would just using the equation and what I know, I can graph this. There are no real roots because there's no x-intercept. The vertex is above the x-axis. It's a smiling parabola. So it would never cross. You will never get x-intercepts. Let's take a minute and look at the next one. Sorry, camera issues. We're going to continue. We're going to do the same thing. Yes, on this one, we could make it simpler. I'm going to ask that we do not make it simpler. It adjusts the parabola a little bit. So please find the line of symmetry for me, and then go ahead and find the vertex. Pause the video. I will calculate it also, but find the line of symmetry, find the vertex for me, and then we'll join up. Please pause the video. Thank you for pausing the video. Hopefully we are at the same point in our equations. I have a line of symmetry at +1/2. I put that into the equation to get a vertex that this time is a max. Because my A is negative, we will have a frowny face. So it would be a maximum, and it's about right there. We have to do our best guesses when we're working with decimals. Now it is time to find our roots, the x-intercepts or the zeros. I will have to do an ACB chart. I need two numbers that multiply to -8 but add to 2. That would be +4 to -2. And we will then proceed to do what we were doing in the last unit. Sorry, grouping together. I am going to take out a -2x, leaving me with x minus 2. I'm going to take out a -2, leaving me with x minus 2. Again, if you didn't take out a negative, you'll see it will work out fine. So I have -2x minus 2 and x minus 2 as my factored form. We need to set each of those equal to 0. So in this case, I would have 2 divided by -2. I get -1. On this one, I would add 2 to both sides, and I would get +2. So 1, 2, starting here, Notice that from the half point, it's 1.5 to the right, and it's 1.5 to the left. Doing the best I can. Draw my parabola. I should have about a y-intercept of 4. That's right here. So those are my x-intercepts, where x equals -1 and x equals 2. Okay, I would like you to pause the video again. My videos have become very lengthy. I am sorry. Usually we spend 2 days doing this in class, but I wanted to merge it together. So pause the video. I would definitely want you to do number 13. Yours is not numbered, but that's okay. And give this one a try at the bottom also. Pause the video for me, please. Thank you for pausing the video. Now, these were a little different, but I hope you gave it some thought and you gave it a whirl. Let's compare our answers so far. For this one, I ended up with a vertex of -2, 0. Because A is -1, it is a max. So I know it's going to be a frowny face. It's going to look like that because A is negative. My line of symmetry -2, put that in. I get a vertex of -2, 0. Well, when I go to factor to find my roots, they are also -2. This is known as a double root. That means your roots and your vertex are all the same. I will highlight that again. Our roots are -2. Our line of symmetry and the whole vertex is -2. So in order to do this one, we are going to either look at the y-intercept, which is so handy. That is -4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I have the ordered pair 0, -4. That is 2 units to the right of the line of symmetry, so I need to go 2 units to the left. If that's at -2, this would be at -4. -4, you can count that out. You would notice it's the same. So this is a double root, meaning my roots, my x-intercepts, and the vertex are the same. Well, this one, another curveball. Here is my A, my B, and my C. I filled those in. I just use zeros. Zero's a real number. We don't work with it often, but we can. Put that into the equation. I got 0 for my line of symmetry, so I tried to shade it. I hope you can see it some. I put 0 into the equation, and so the origin is my vertex. A is +2, so I know I'm going to be smiling. Based upon what I saw happen here, I knew these were going to be my roots. My y-intercept is 0, so I had to make a t-chart. I put the vertex in the center of my table. The vertex is the center of your graph. So I went +1, +2, and then -1, -2. As you can see, I really only solved for those two, but knowing they'll mirror on the other side of the vertex, once I knew 1 is 2, that would be 2. 2 is 8, that would, and I plotted my points and graph. I am going to ask that, we are done. Okay. This was a lot of videos, a lot of time. I tried to break it down, believe it or not. Thanks for hanging in there with me.